Hello there, everyone. So I'm making this video to say that something that I've been thinking about, that I sort of thought of, that I came to a realization 2 weeks ago that Facebook seems like it's getting even more hateful than 4chan. This is just because I've been thinking this because these are the two social media sites that I've been using my whole life. Not my whole life. I mean, for about 15 years now. Just about half my life. Too long of a time, I'd say, but they used to be less hateful though, and I'm kind of counting 4chan as a social media site, a website, whatever like you want to call it. But they're the two main places that I've really been to have conversations and discourse, or at least look at these conversations. And yeah, it just seemed like I was thinking recently, like obviously 4chan is like, maybe depending on the board, but most boards on there, like they're very hateful, and people just spouting out just slurs, racial slurs, and like all the phobias and isms and everything. And yeah, you don't get that kind of thing so much on Facebook because Facebook has a lot more control, a lot more censorship. You say like just certain words and the algorithm will throw you off. But yeah, it definitely seems like just over the past I would say since just before the pandemic, like the hate has risen, and particularly with recent events in America, I'd also say it's there's been a change. So I think like 4chan's level of hate used to be about like here, like just before the pandemic, and then Facebook's was about here, and then up until now 4chan's has risen like this, and Facebook has risen like this. Like it's gotten like crazier on Facebook, and if it keeps that way, then Facebook's gonna get even more horrible than 4chan. And it's crazy to see. I definitely understand. I don't want to get too much into the details about how both these websites are very different, But I think to kind of boil it down, like Facebook is like a real, normie website. It's where the normies go, like myself, and I'm trying to get off it, in terms of just, I don't know, let's say like political discourse. Let's just kind of go with that. Political, social discourse, rather than just, people just... Obviously, these two websites, you can go on there just to look at pictures of like, cute bunnies and whatever. But in terms of having like actual conversations about the politics and society these days, I think Facebook has definitely risen more in the hate. And it's strange because I felt like 4chan isn't so much a normie website. It's where like all the trolls go, and it's just tucked away in the corner, and it's just this little gremlin like in the corner of the internet, And it's like, that's fine, I don't really have respect for the website and like the people on it and all the kind of like hate that comes out of them, But I respect sort of the existence of 4chan. Like it's just there, and if you want to go on there and see people venting, then that's what it is. But Facebook is just this more like, it's more of an indication of humanity, I guess, and it's kind of troubling because you're seeing like much more hate being spewed on that site now. I think an important difference to kind of go over is that on 4chan, there's not really, it's anonymous, and you can't really have profiles on there, and like, so all you're seeing is just comment, and you have to kind of work out who's who, and try to figure out who's talking. But on Facebook, it's way more designed for having a conversation, or rather an argument, where you just flame at each other, where, you comment on someone's comment, and then you can see their profiles and everything. And I'm noticing more and more now, Facebook, people, when they start having a go at each other, and there's no real in-between. It's not like, they just say like, oh, well, I don't really like what you're saying. I don't know, it seems a little messed up. It goes either like just basic comment to like straight up hate, 10 out of 10 hate, immediately. And something I've been noticing more is that they can look at your profile, go to your profile, and go through your photos, or just something or the other, like a quote that you have, and be like, oh yeah, well, and then they start attacking your character. There's that opportunity on Facebook. You can't do that on 4chan. Maybe if they know what country you're from, because I think you have a little like flag to say. That's the only way they can do it. But Facebook, it seems like it facilitates more of this sort of personal attacks, because you can lock your profile, but if you haven't, they can still see your profile picture and like give you shit about it. It's really strange, they might even crap on like how you look, or how the people in your profile picture look, like your family, like your kids. And it just seems strange that like to see someone doing this sort of thing, like really having a go at someone on Facebook and just being like, you fucking can't fuck off, what the fuck, you know, yeah, well, you have this as a profile pic and blah, blah, blah. And their profile pic is of them, like, smiling with their kids, you know? It's like, yeah, you know, and you just see this hatred, like, coming from that person. It makes me think that they're at home, and the kids are like, you know, Daddy, you wanna play? And he's just on their phone, like, oh, fucking, just go, wait a minute, I just gotta talk to this guy. And they're having, like, hour-long conversations, not even conversations, but just, like, no, just shitting on each other, just constant. And another reason it just seems that Facebook is just, like, worse, or just about getting worse, is on 4chan, like, what you see is just, it just seems, like, silly, just the way people, like, have a go at each other. They're just, it just seems like they're just spouting out this just hatred, you know, and it's just, like, one hateful comment after the other, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, I guess that's bad, but on Facebook, it comes across more, like, sanctimonious. Like, the sanctimonious is just, like, they're with the personal attack, you know. They're just like, oh, well, you're the bad person, I am the moral guy, and you're the immoral person. I'm sure you see, like, on Facebook, you know, when people are just having these, like, debates, and they just start throwing in all these, like, you know, huge articles, like, oh, well, you know, oh, it's actually bad, you know, oh, you're gonna need to realize this, you haven't got your statistics right, and would you see here, and then they'd link to, like, you know, not even really an article, but, like, not even, like, an actual, you know, verified kind of essay or whatever, but just some blog post with just a bunch of shit, you know. Maybe it's just, like, you know, like, quotes taken out of context and all this kind of thing, and it's like, oh, they didn't say this and didn't say that, you know. I mean, you know, we've seen a lot of this happening due to recent events in America. People on Facebook, you can see what they look like, you see their name, and you can see maybe, like, what their interests in by looking on their profile. And then, along before that, they come across so adamant about being the moral arbiter, I think, having the moral high ground. And it just doesn't feel that way on 4chan. It just feels like they're just like, fuck yeah, you fucking cunt, just, you know, fuck you, and then a whole bunch of racial slurs, and just slurs of every nature and everything, and it's just, you know. So it just feels like 4chan is to be taken less seriously, and really it's no good, because it's why I'm kind of trying to not use the website. I don't know why it's taken me like this long. I should have done it a decade ago, but just how you can't really have, like, any kind of conversation on that website. It's just all hate-filled, and, you know, if I am just literally trying to look at, like, pictures on there, like, I have to scroll down past, like, walls of text of, like, people just shitting on each other, and it just, and they just seem crazy. They just seem like, oh, you know, you've probably been vaxxed or whatever. Like, they try to have a go at your character, but they don't know, like, who you are, you know. But at least at Facebook, you can see who it is, so you know how to shit on that person. So it just seems like this whole thing has just been interesting. It's just been interesting to watch over, you know, the past few years. And obviously, you know, it just seems every website, every social media website, the level of hate is just going up and up and up. Even if people say, hey, no, we need to be cool with each other, like, those are the people to get worried about. Those are the people who will, like, have absolute intense hate for you. They will want to, like, kill you as they laugh. And I think the real big problem to me is that with Facebook, is that on Facebook, people, if I ever, like, start making comments on Facebook or anything, I always try to just be funny and still be able to put through my message in this, like, maybe satirical way or whatever. There's some sort of joke, you know, and that's how 4chan can be. 4chan's kind of humor is not so much, I mean, it can be kind of like, you know, oh, amusing and kind of clever, and they've done a funny thing, but sometimes it's kind of just the brashness of it, the coarseness of it is what's funny, you know. It can appeal to, like, an edgelord like myself. It can be kind of, like, funny in that way, and just seeing people kind of emotionally vent, you know, and you think, well, this isn't good, but at least it's funny, at least that's there. And Facebook, people on Facebook, I think for the most part, just seem to be so deeply unfunny. They have such a, like, seriousness to them in the way they try to, and it doesn't work, you know. Like, if they're putting forward, like, a part of a debate, and they're being, you know, reasonable, and they actually have, like, actual, you know, stuff to back it up with, like articles and whatever, like actual verified things, not just bloody blog posts or a dumb YouTube video. If they're doing that, then that's fine, and they don't have to be, like, cleverly witty or funny or amusing in that kind of way. And I think, again, like, Facebook, the way it's censorship kind of, like, it disencourages you from really being funny, because you can be misinterpreted and then, like, given, like, a month-long ban or whatever kind of thing. But I think that's the problem. I think that's, it just seems that 4chan at least is funnier than Facebook, and I think when it comes to humor, like, it's very important to me because I do think that comedy is the official language of the Western world, or at least the Western English-speaking world, you know? Like, English is the second language and comedy is first, and a lot of people are just forgetting it, and they don't even know how to even speak comedy. They don't get, like, people being satirical or having a joke or being facetious or parodic or just, and I get it, comedy can be kind of hard, you know, like, you know, you say something and you might be joking because you're not serious, you're trying to, like, be a parody of what someone else is saying, or it's funny because what you've said is very truthful to you. I get it, but, you know, people have got to fucking learn how to, you know, speak this kind of language, really. And I mean, yeah, I think, you know, even just before recent events in America, even before that, I just felt like the way people have discourse is just so chaotic and, if not chaotic, even if you're like a YouTuber who comes across as very reasonable and sensible in your opinions, you still, if you're a big YouTuber, you have to have a real, you can't be surprising or like nuanced in the way you talk, otherwise you lose subscribers. Like, you know, I'll get into that in another video, we'll get into YouTube in another time, but I feel like Facebook really can be the same way, because there are people on Facebook as well who have like their channels, and on 4chan you don't have to have that. There's no channels, there's no real like profiles, it's just people. And I mean, you see the way that it's kind of been, but I don't know, it's been an interesting experiment with both these websites. But as I was saying, just before even like recent events in America, I've been seeing, well, just to kind of get like refreshed from like the way people talk, where it's just very antagonistic. I've been watching like Christopher Hitchens videos from like Bush administration and Clinton administration, like, oh, a blast from the past. But he was saying something about when he writes, not online, but in his articles that he used to write for the magazines, the way he would write is, no matter which kind of, if it seemed like more of a left-wing or a right-wing publication that he was writing for, or depending on what kind of audience he thought he was writing for, if they seemed more intellectual or not, he still kind of just thought, you want to write, or you want to talk as if you're talking to your most clever and wittiest pal. That's the way to really talk. That's the way he says that people want to be spoken to, and yeah, the way to have like conversations with people with like more of a calm temperament. But yeah, people I guess are going apeshit now, so good luck with that, society. So that's basically my comments on 4chan and Facebook, and just to sum it up again, like, you know, 4chan was just intense hate, and Facebook didn't seem as bad. I mean, they both didn't seem as bad, but over the years they've both gone up, but Facebook has gone up much more, and it might be even exponential. So moral of the story, just stop using those websites, or just like focus just solely on like a meme page or board, just for memes or for images of cute fluffy bunnies or ducklings.